Hey, everybody. Welcome to another fantastic show of Drinks with Tiffani Beth. I am, of course, your favorite Wicked Wild Child, Tiffani Beth, and I am always enjoying a fantastic cocktail, which I really can't tell you about because they're not my sponsor. But I'm shouting out to all the people out there. If you own drink facilities, companies, and you would love to have your your company name on my show, I would love to represent you because I love to drink. And I think we'd be a good pair. Yeah, I do. It'd be a good time. So tonight I have an awesome show for you. I have another really wonderful author. I've actually had her on my old show. Her name is Megan Elizabeth, and her book is called Sinner's Craving. And we're going to be talking about that in a little bit. She's an absolute sweetheart, and I'm excited to have her on. And I can't wait to get to her. But first, before we get to her, a really quick shout-out to Best Friends Animal Society. They're a fantastic rescue organization and a no-kill shelter. Please donate to them food, blankets, litter boxes, cat litter, dog food, anything, money. Please, they rescue animals in need, abandoned, abused, neglected, and Lord knows, everybody needs a loving, safe environment, and that's what they provide. So please go to www.bestfriendsanimalsociety, donate to them, adopt, and I'm not saying anything against breeders, but every time you adopt from a breeder, you're killing a shelter for a baby. So please, and 9 times out of 10, the dogs that are bought from breeders end up in the shelter anyway because people are horrible, vile creatures that like to dump beings when they get old, and I hate that, or for whatever reason. And so 9 times out of 10, you're going to find a purebred in a shelter that came from a breeder. And also, please don't buy from pet stores because it's puppy mills and horrible, horrible conditions. So please donate to Best Friends Animal Society. Adopt, donate, give a loving, safe environment for fur baby because they need it. Kitties especially. Pretty pitties. I'm a pitty owner, and you know what? They're not violent and they're not vicious. It's people. So give love to a pitty or a Rottweiler or a Staffy because they're absolutely, innately, genuinely gentle. So that's Best Friends Animal Society. Sorry about my rant, but you know me. I'm passionate about my fur babies. Also, shout out to Jackie Bowling, psychic, medium, clairvoyant. She is really, really awesome. Like I said before, not a huge psychic lover, but she really is truly, genuinely gifted. And I highly recommend if you're looking for a spiritual cleansing, if you're looking for answers, she really is phenomenal, and she truly is gifted. So that's Jackie Bowling, psychic, medium, clairvoyant. You can go to www.dtmwickedradio.com, click on the sponsor page, and click on her banner, and email her today. Also, Caring Coaching Center. Go to www.thecaringcoachingcenter.com. Everybody wants to be somebody new. Everybody wants to start over. Everybody wants to be a better version of themselves. We'll start at thecaringcoachingcenter.com because Karen Kennedy is an amazing coach. She's a life coach. She's a nutritionist. She's kind of like everybody rolled into one, and that's exactly what you want because they all go hand in hand. So if you go to her site, email her and get a free 15-minute health history consultation. And what that will do is help her design a program specifically to meet your needs. So if you want to lose weight, she'll help you lose weight. If you want to lose weight and get financially stable, that's exactly what she'll do. Whatever you need, that's what she will do for you. And so that's thecaringcoachingcenter.com. Also, in a couple weeks, will be Salem Con at Salem, Massachusetts. DTM Wicked Radio and Drinks with Tiffani Beth will be there. And so come on out and see us at the Nathaniel Hawthorne Hotel. We'll be Investigations. Jones Acker from Hana Collect will be there. Justin Perry from Ghost Awesome Patient Guest is waiting to talk about her book. And I can't wait to bring her on. Her name is Megan Elizabeth, and I've had her on once before on another show, and she was so much fun. And her book is very interesting and so fantastic. I can't wait to get to hear about it. How are you, Megan?
I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm liking it now that the weather's getting slightly warmer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's nice to be able to walk outside and breathe and not want to kill yourself because it's below 60 degrees below freezing.
I don't know. I walked outside today, and it was only 30 this morning, and I was like, I'm so done. I'm done with winter. I can't handle this anymore.
You know what? I hear you. I unfortunately I have to get up at like 3:15 every morning because I do home health care, and my employer leaves for work at 5. And I woke up, and at first it was just little flurries. I'm like, I hate this, but I can deal with it. And by the time I left for work, it was like a full-on blizzard, and I could barely drive. I'm like, God, it was like almost 60 a couple days ago. Why are we doing this? Why are we taking 3 steps forward and 20 steps back?
I know. I looked at the weather today. It said Friday snow. I was like, why? Why? Friday's the first day of spring. We're not supposed to have snow. I'm done.
Was supposed to have a storm or something on Friday into Saturday. I'm like, why? What did we do? Whatever anybody is doing, just stop doing it, and maybe God will find mercy and give us just go right into summer. At this point, I don't even care if we have spring. Just go right into summer. However, I do have to lay blame on some of the people that still have their Christmas lights up. What is wrong with you? You're confused by Mother Nature. Stop it.
My best friend lives in Florida, and she sends me pictures of the beach every day.
I keep sending pictures of him getting throat punched. Be like, this is you on Photoshop getting throat punched. This is how because I have friends in Florida doing the same thing, or in Georgia going, oh, look, it's 75. I'm like, oh, look, you're being unfriended, you douche. Oh, my goodness gracious. So aside from the weather, I'm sure that has given you a ton of time to write because no one wanted to go outside for the last 5 months.
Very true. Very, very true.
So tell us about Sinner's Cravings, and then and you and I are talking a little bit, and you have finished your second installment. So tell us a little bit about Sinner's Cravings, and then we'll kind of segue into the new installment.
Okay, so Sinner's Craving is the first book in the League of the Fallen series. It's set up to be an 8-book series, and the first 2 are already completed, which is so awesome, and I'm really excited about. Sinner's Craving, what I like to tell people is that it's got a little bit of everything. I like to it's about fallen angels with Greek gods, lots of action, lots of romance. It's crazy. I actually had to buy an e-reader because I couldn't have any more books in my house. So it actually came to me in a dream, and I had been thinking about writing my own series for quite some time, and I just didn't know really where to start. And then one night, I just had this dream about, my main character, Matthias, and I saw him, and he was just there, perfect in my mind, and very easy to write. So I was very lucky in that aspect.
Oh, wow. That's very intriguing. That's very intriguing. So how did your book develop from that and onward?
Sinner's Craving was my first novel that I actually tried to work on. So for me, being a newbie, it was definitely a huge undertaking. But from there, you start to develop the characters. You develop your main characters. You find out what drives them. You find out their likes, their dislikes. You start making crazy notes. And then after that, you start developing further out. It's almost like a web where you start with the original 2, and then you move further out and the supporting cast members and who you want them to be and what their roles are going to play in the story. Are they going to help them? Are they going to hurt them? I happen to love to write antagonists. I love to write the bad guy. So when I wrote these, I really made you love to hate my bad guy, Lucifer. So you'll get to see he's an incredibly strong character as well, So it's kind of, you just work your way from the bottom up, you figure out where your base is, and then you just expand. What's the world like? Where's the tension going to come from? All those things, plots and conflicts. So it gets to be really interesting after a while.
Now, in types of genre, what genre would you put your book in? Like fantasy, fiction, types, things like that, thriller, criminal?
Yeah, the funny part is that people have a hard time fitting books into genres sometimes, but Sinner's Craving is urban fantasy, and it has erotic elements in it. Usually urban fantasy does, so it is an urban fantasy with erotic elements.
That's very cool. That is very cool. Now, other than Sinner's Craving, do you do essays and things like that other people could look into?
Well, not right now. I don't. I blog right now. I just started my first blog, and my PR guy asked me. He's like, you need to blog. People need to get to know you a little bit. So I started doing that, and you get to see some of the short things that I like to write about. I really like to write about book boyfriends, you know, the hotties that everybody loves to read. So I do touch on that kind of stuff, and, you know, just little things like that. Mainly it's going to be Sinner's Craving is out now, and the second installment will be out this summer. So there's going to be quite a few novels coming out within the next year. I have 2 more coming out this year.
Oh, wow. Now can you tell us anything about the other 2?
Sure. The next one is called Borrowed Sins, and it is about Micah, who is the second in command of the League of the Fallen. In the first book, Sinner's Craving, you meet Matthias, and he's the leader. And in the second one, we get to see a little bit more of Micah and his love interest. And what I really, really love about this one is it's a love story through time. It doesn't start in present day. It starts in the 1920s, and it moves through to present day. And the way that the characters change and grow together and actually get pulled apart is just, it's so much fun to read, because you really pull for them and you hurt for them and you want them to get their happily ever after. So I really love Borrowed Sins. I'm really looking forward to it hitting the market and people getting to see the other side of what the League of the Fallen is like.
I love how you're describing it, but first of all, you describe it with such passion. And that's what you want from an author. You want them to, you know, eat, sleep, and breathe their book, because then, as a reader, it makes you want to read it and just devour it that much more. And I just find that so fantastic. And the way you're describing it, I hope I get to read it soon, because I'm one of those people that really gets involved in the book. And it's like, if I really love it, it like becomes a movie in my head. And the way you're describing it, it becomes a movie, and you become attached to the characters. Almost like
that's exactly how, for sure. I mean, that's exactly how I try to write. Because when I'm writing, it is a movie in my head. In my head, it's a movie, and I just have to describe it to people and show them what it's like to be in this world and be in my world. And, you know, that's kind of what I took away from some of my favorite authors. You know, when you go through rough times in your life, you really just want to open up a book and just get lost for a little bit. So that's what I'm hoping that my fans or my readers get to find.
Absolutely. And then, you know, and I think what every author should want to achieve. You know, you want that to be something so much more than words on paper, but they become, you know, and I'll be the person that, you know, Harry Potter, Twilight, when I read those books, like, I became very attached to the characters. I became very attached to the story, and I saw it all play out in my head. And, you know, that's what you want as a reader. You want that kind of attachment to the book. And as an author, I'm sure, you know, that's exactly what you want people to come away from, you know, craving more, wanting more, because it's more than just a book.
Right, exactly. I mean, I'm a twihard, just so you know. So Twilight was one of the first series that I actually sat down and started reading, and right after that, I just was, like, in the paranormal world. And, of course, you know, Harry Potter, you always take those online quizzes, and you want to know what your Patronus is, and you want to be cool like that. So,
yeah,
I'm exactly the same way.
Oh, absolutely. I have to admit, I love Harry Potter, and I really was sad. Like, it was the last book, and I have to be honest, I got it in the mail, and I had to smell it, because there's nothing like that new book smell. And then I put it off for a couple of days, because I'm like, I had to finally accept that this was the last book in the series. This was the last book. And then reading it, like, it just made your heart ache, like, I have to say goodbye to my friends. You know, and even when the movies came out, you're like, oh, this is the last movie, no.
You know, it's so funny. I saw online the other day, they were saying that J.K. Rowling would live forever because of the Harry Potter books. And everybody was like, why? And they said because each book is like a Horcrux, because, you know, you have to kill somebody to save a piece of your soul. And they were like, wait, that doesn't make sense. And somebody was like, what do you think Dobby, Hedwig, Fred, and Remus, and Sirius Black were? And everybody was just like, oh my gosh. So,
no, absolutely.
So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was like, I'm definitely a fan of the genre. And I mean, you really have to know your genre. You have to read it, you have to write it, you have to live it. You have to be able to just say, I don't care what anybody thinks, this is what I love and this is what I'm going to do. So you really have to pay attention to what you're doing too. All those kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what, though, as also, it's kind of funny you mentioned Horcrux. As a writer, it doesn't matter how many books you put out, there's a piece of yourself in each book. And, you know, by that, you also live forever. It doesn't even have to be J.K. Rowling and have this, like, humongous, you know, legacy. You just have to have something you wrote and felt incredibly passionate about, and that is you. You know, you in paperback, you in hardcover. And that in itself is like a horcrux, because whenever anybody picks it up, they're reading a piece of you.
Exactly. And it's very true, you know. The people that are very close to me, my family that has read, that, you know, a lot of them have read the books, and when they read them, they're just like, Megan, you're on these pages. This is you. We see it. We know it's you, you know. So I like to think that my voice is very clear to my readers, and I'd like to think that they would get to know me through them too.
Now, as far as Sinner's Crave goes, where in the book is that specifically you? Because, I mean, it's a piece of you throughout the whole book, but I think every author puts a literal, you know, piece of them in either in a character or a scenario or even in the storyline. Where is a specific piece of you that people can go, aha, Megan Elizabeth?
You know, I think my heroine Taylor, I like to see myself in her a lot. I picked I made a character that was very realistic and true to me. You know, she is a single mom, and she is just working it and trying to take care of her and take care of her son. So for me, you know, I have a son, and I work very hard, and I think that showed through in the pages, that people can see that she's a realistic character. You know, she's not just this very powerful immortal that's walking around and is just beautiful. She's got a real life, and she has real baggage and real problems, and that's kind of what I like. I mean, you know, not every reader that is going to pick up a book is going to be, you know, 22 and single and not have a lot of huge responsibilities. People that read your book have lives. They have troubles. They have difficulties. They need to know that someone feels that and someone knows that. So for me, Taylor really was, she really was the character that I connected with, like, on a very basic level.
And that's really good, because that can be very inspirational to a reader, especially if they're going through the similar things you are, even one of the characters in the book. I think that's a way that some people even heal themselves, when they connect to the character that's going through the same struggles, but strong enough to overcome them, and I think to help them overcome their issues and their struggles in life.
I feel that, like, you know, I've read a lot of books, and every time I read them, I take on a little bit of what I'm reading, you know, and it makes you think. It makes you think about, should I be stronger? You know, do I need to be more caring? Should I be more tender? It really makes you reflect on things that you do in your life. And that's part of what's the greatest thing about having a book and writing a book, is to feel that connection to yourself, to your characters, to your readers. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I remember last time we talked, you said there's a risque, a little level of risque in your book, as far as intimate content goes.
Yes.
Is that also relatable to the author?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Is that also relatable to the author?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one. You know, I have a really, really great imagination, but I will say this much. After I've had people read the first one and read the second one, I was asked to write an erotica next. So that's pretty much where that headed. That's the third book that I'm working on right now, so it has been a very, very interesting ride so far.
Let's see if you can top 50 Shades of Grey. Which I did not read, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I said, let's see if you can top 50 Shades of Grey, which I did not read, by the way.
You know, I actually read 50 Shades of Grey. I've read all of them. Probably, I think I've read them twice, actually. But I will say this. I think that 50 Shades of Grey has a really good story. And it's a story where you like the characters, you pull for the characters, and some of the scenes really make you raise your eyebrow. You're like, wow, people can do that, you know? So, I mean, 50 Shades of Grey catches a lot of slack from other authors about about, the writing style, whether or not it's like, they're saying that the writing level isn't there. I disagree. I think that if it's a book that connects with an audience, then I think that you've done your job as an author. So, and, some people say it's commercial now. Well, if you've read 50 Shades of Grey, you know it's not commercial. Not just anybody can read that book. So it's one of those things where, you have to respect the person that puts their work out there, puts themselves on the page. So 50 Shades of Grey, I'm not up to that quite yet, but I'd say I'm well on my way.
That's, it sounds like there's a little bit of everything in your book for every type of person, which is going to make that book even that much better.
Yeah, that's what you got to try and do, right? You need some action, you need romance, you need adventure, you need tension, you need all that stuff just to have fun,
Oh, 110%. Now, can you tell us a little bit about your second installment?
Yeah, the second installment is Borrowed Sins, again, and Micah is the one that the second installment is about. And, his love interest is Viola, and she's a lot different than the heroine in the first book. And that's what I really tried to do, was make the stories completely different, make the characters completely different, have the dynamic be different. And you see how these two characters, they originally come together. They're immortals. They come together in the 1920s, and it's pretty much love at first sight. And the connection is there, and it's almost instant. And for Micah, it kind of revives his life, and he makes him feel like he has something worth living for. When I look at these people, when I look at my characters, I kind of think of them as regular people. How would it feel to live forever? Wouldn't you get bored after a while? So for him, when he finds her, he finds life again. And so throughout the book, they become very connected. And there's one point where they get torn apart. And it was one of the hardest scenes that I'd ever had to write. And I cried as I wrote it. And I sat there, it was awful. I just sat there and I had tears running down my face. I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this to them, which made it all that more sweeter when they actually reunited and got back together. So when they get back together, she's very changed. It's been 70 years and she's very different. She's very strong. She's not as sweet as she used to be. And she's tough. She's been through a lot. She's tough. And it takes Mike a while to break that barrier down with her again and really earn his way back in there. And that was part of what I just adored about these two, is that even through time, even through everything that they had been through, they still came out together. And they still came together to fight against what they wanted to fight for. They were sacrificing for each other, which was just the ultimate romance. Even it's withstood the test of time. And that's what I love about it. So Borrowed Sins, yeah, that one will be out later on in the summer, this summer.
Well, when that comes out, we'll have to have you back on the show.
Absolutely. I love being on your show. It's so much fun.
Oh, I'm so glad. Even though we're both I'll be honest, people on the show, I'm like, have we talked before? Because, she gets a ton of interviews. I have a ton of people to interview. And I was like, I know I've spoken with you before. And I thought for some reason you were out in Oregon.
No, I'm in New Jersey.
But I'm still glad because I absolutely love having you on my show. You're so much fun, and I love your energy. And, this time I'm going to put it on my calendar, must buy Sinner's Praise pouch. And, I have two fur babies that are trying to pounce on me at the same time. Sinner's Praise, because I want to read it. It just sounds like something I can really just dive into and forget myself and forget the world around me and just enter a new world with new adventures and new characters that I can become completely attached to, because I look forward to that reading book. And I'm the same way. I love that. I feel like it just makes you feel good, It does, especially you talk about Harry Potter and Twilight, and actually To Kill a Mockingbird is my absolute favorite book of all time. Just my absolute favorite book, and I've read it about 500 times probably. But you get in the pages, and it's happened to me so many times where I'll just be reading, and I'll be reading, and I'll be reading, and I won't even realize it until somebody brings it to my attention that 3 or 4 hours have gone by, and I'll be like, oh, it is. Oh, the sun's gone. Oops. I haven't showered yet. And that's the part.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to happen. That's what I want my readers to go through. I do it to myself all the time where I'll, put my son to bed and the dog will be fed. I will take her out. Everything will be settled in the house. I'll sit down. I'll read a book. Next thing I know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I have to be up in 2 hours. And I'm like, why did I do that? Because you just lose track of time. And that's what I really could hope for with my readers. So I really do hope that that's what they get with me.
Well, it sounds that's exactly what they do get, and I can't wait to experience that with your book. I am looking so forward to it.
Yeah, and I've been really lucky that even, when you put your work out there, it's up for everybody to criticize. They're allowed to have their own opinions. They're allowed to put their reviews on Amazon, on Goodreads, and they're allowed to really let you have it if they want to. And I have been lucky enough to get some pretty good reviews, and I'm actually very happy with that, especially since this is my first novel that's ever been published. So I was ready. I had my armor on. I was ready to get smacked a little bit. So.
Well, I don't see that happening because it sounds like such a fantastic, and I can't wait to read it. And I'm definitely going to get it. I'm actually going to get it. I'm going to put a note in my calendar. I'm going to get it next week, and I'm going to read it, and I will let you know what I think because I can't wait.
Absolutely. I really hope you let me know. I would be awesome if I can get in touch with you. You could tell me what you thought.
Well, you know what? The number you have now is my number. So please feel free to call or text anytime.
Oh,
so
perfect.
I'd love to have you as a friend. I can't wait to read your book. I'm so excited. Unfortunately, we are actually down to just a couple of minutes because this is a short notice interview. But that's okay. You are welcome on my show anytime. You have an absolute open door.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, anytime. Short notice, advance notice, anytime. I just want to thank my listeners. I want to thank my guests so much for being so kind and so gracious for coming on the show. I absolutely just adore you, and I'm so glad it was you who I thought it was, so I'm just so glad. And I can't wait to have you again. I can't wait to talk to you, sometime off air, and I can't wait to read your book. And I thank you so much. And this is Megan Elizabeth, and she is the author of Sinner's Crave. I'm saying that right?
Sinner's Craving.
Sinner's Craving. Where can people find you really quick?
Amazon. I'm on Amazon, Goodreads, all that good stuff. Facebook, I'm there.
Awesome. And her name is Megan Elizabeth. Her first book is Sinner's Craving. Can you tell us the title of your second book, or do you want to hold off on that for a little bit?
The title of the second book is called Borrowed Sins.
Perfect. And this can be found on Amazon and Barnes & Noble?
Amazon right now, and we're working on Barnes & Noble.
Awesome. We're so excited. Thank you so much, Megan. Everybody, have a great night. Please bring your pets inside. They need to be in a warm, loving, safe environment. Megan, I can't wait to have you on again. Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing from you. And everybody, have a great night and be safe. And remember, spread love and not hate. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Hold on a second, Megan. All right.
Hello?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm here. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
So much